Mm.
Actually, today we are looking at how to design the very first part of this. We need to off your audio. We want to design the very first part of a website, which is called the navigation bar. So by definition, the navigation bar is usually the first pass at the top of every website that contain the website's main links. Okay, so if you can still hear me, please, if you can turn off your audio, I think it
Yes.
will be better so that we can have a smooth conversation. All right, so like I was saying, we are looking at navigation bar design, and I'll try to explain what navigation bar in website design mean. Like I said, the navigation bar is that very top part of a website that contain the website's main links. No, I was timed out before. I think there was network distraction before. I just came back. Okay, you can hear me now, right? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you now.
So I'm still on the definition of website navigation bar, which is the aspects we want to focus on today. So like I've defined before, since you say you are not hearing me, I said the website navigation bar is that topmost part of a website that contain the website main links. When I say major links, I'm referring to the homepage link, the About Us link, the contact page link, the service, the gallery, depending on the websites you are designing. So this very top section that constitute all these major links, it is called a web navigation bar. Now, what are the informations you are allowed to design there as a developer? On the navigation. So the container that is going to hold all the links. Now, I will now start making my lists by calling li. Like I said, this li is another HTML tag that is used for making lists. List means you are listing items. And what are the items I want to list? The links, home page, about us, contact, and the rest. Now, those tests, the home page, the about us, they are not just ordinary tests. They are linked. When you say link, it means that they should be clickable tests. They should be hypertext that when the user select them, then it will drive, or they will drive the user to different pages. So because of that, we are going to use what we call an anchor tag. An anchor tag is a tag in HTML which is used to create clickable item, which could be an image that the user can click on or a write-up. But in this case, we just want to make the write-up clickable. So because of that, I will now type A inside it. That A represents the anchor tag. Then you press enter. So you can see another tag nested inside the initial tag called what? Li. That is inside Li, you added another tag inside, which is what? The href, sorry, the anchor tag. And the reason is that we don't want to. Let me show you the reason why I did that. Let's assume that I did not add the inside. Just watch. Let's assume that I did not add the anchor tag. So, and I want to type home. And then by the time I go to the browser, you will see that the home is here, but it's not clickable. If I click on it, it's not showing me the hand symbol. So just to make it clickable, that is the reason why I have to add it I have to add the anchor tag. So the anchor tag is just to make the write-up clickable. And how do you activate it? You just type A and press enter to bring it. Now that home that was not clickable, I will add it here in the anchor tag description, sorry, content part. So I will type the home here. So if I go back to the browser now, you see that what the home is not clickable. Like this text is not clickable. But if I click here, it will take me nowhere because I have not specified the destination where it's going to take the users to when they click on it. So to do that, you put that inside this attribute, href, which means hyper reference. So which destination will the user be taken to when they click on the home? That is what you have to put here. So the destination of this home is the index page, which is this particular page that we have created. That is when they log in www. It will automatically bring them to what? To the index page. So the index page is just like the most creative page in a website, because that is the first page the user gets to. So if they are not impressed with what they see there, they might not be motivated enough to continue what? Checking the content of other links. So that is why you take your time to build it. And today, we are just building only one component in the index page, which is the navigation bar. So I will now type the same name you use here when you were creating the file, index.html. That is, when they click on this text, when they click on it, it will take them to the same place we are, which is the index page. So I will now copy the whole of this. Just watch. It's very simple. Once I'm done, I will hold on for question. Now, I'll paste it. I'll paste again because I want to create 5 different links. So why I'm pasting this is that so that I don't start writing them again. I will just be editing this section. So this one should take them to about page. So I'll type about here. This one should take, and then you specify the page. We have not created the page, but depending on when we are going to create it, let's create the link there. So the link will be about.html. This one, when the user clicks on it, this one will take them to contact page, where you must have published all your contacts, your telephone number, your Facebook pages, and the rest. So the same thing, we are going to create 5 for all these things probably in the next class. But today is just to create their links, the connection. Then here, this one we target the service. The service page or services. And then the file name should be services or service.html. Then the last one is the gallery, where we would like to showcase some of the work we have done. Gallery. And then I will also edit it here to gallery. So now if I go back to the website now, you see all of them what created. So this is how you can make all your here now. Remember what we plan to have in the navigation bar: the logo, the name, and the link, and that is settled. So now we will go for, I will allow you to build your own to this before I come back for the CSS, which is the last part. So just quickly, if you can snap it, or if you have been writing, so go and replicate it. Just give me the HTML. At least within the next 10 minutes, you should have created this before we go for the styling. Any question on this first?
Honestly, I don't know. Let me just start creating. Yeah.
So what you should
It's
do?
a lot, Sha.
Eh?
Creating. Let me just start creating. It's a lot, but let me start.
Okay, so have you copied everything or you want to snap?
I'm not copied though. I don't know. Can't I be recording this?
Whether you can record what?
Can't I be recording the class?
Yes, you can do now. I can permit you. You can record from your end.
Okay, if you start again, I'll send requests. Okay, let me do this now.
So I'll give you some time to attend
Okay.
before we come for the CSA.
Okay.
So like I was saying, I was trying to explain the difference between width and maximum width. The width is the actual size, while the maximum width is like you are setting a constraint, a limit, that no matter how an object increase, it shouldn't go beyond certain limits. The reason why we are assigning maximum width is that if you check here, that's the reason why I use internal, so that we can be seeing our HTML and the CSS together. If you check here, the first container is the header that is wrapping, that is inside this header, we have another container, div, holding the image as the logo we are talking to. Now, we don't want this image to go beyond the boundary of, we don't want the image to go beyond the boundary of each principal container. That is the reason why we want to set limits, that no matter how you increase it, it should not go beyond certain limits. Because if you leave that room of, increments, you have a situation whereby the logo can be, higher or bigger than what the width of the navigation bar. So we can say the maximum width is 100%. 100%. What it means is that it should use the full width of the principal container. That is what it should limit itself to the width available within the header. Within the header, it shouldn't go. It should use the whole space of the header. That is the meaning of what? Maximum width. And then there is a space from the top, 50 ps. That is the height of the logo. Let's say this is the logo. Then this could be the header boundary. So it should leave, instead of lapping the header, it should give space down of 50 ps from the top. That is the meaning of this top, 50 ps. I don't want the logo to lap the header container. In this case, every HTML element, see them as container, see it as a box. Whether we are seeing the box or not, always know that there are 4 borders around every element you activate. So meaning that this header is the first box. Inside it, there's another one for image. Inside it, there's another one for H1. Inside it, there's another one for UL. So you have about 3 different boxes inside the first box called the header. So let's work with that mindset. So when we are styling, that's the reason why we use top 50. Now, as you are doing it, you have to be checking your browser. There are some of them that will not make any impact until you start talking to the principal element. That is what the one you label page header before you can start seeing results. So we'll just continue what? Styling. So I'm done with that element. I will step out. I will call another selector. The next selector we are calling is the menu, the UL. that we have changed its name to menu. So each time I call menu, I am referring to what? To the UL as a container that is holding all these items. So it's the class element. Because of that, I'll start with dot, and then I will say menu. And then I will open my column, my code block, expand it because I have a couple of code to write inside. So the first thing I want to write inside it is the display. How do I want those items to display? Look at the list we have inside it. I want all this to be beside it, not under it. At the end of the day, all this will come here. They will be arranged horizontally here, not vertically. So at first, I need to what? Make them to display a column. And that is the reason why we are using a display property. Display, and then you say flex. So this flex is to allow when you have multiple items in the container and you want them to be displayed in different columns, though they are in one row, but you want them to take different columns, you use flex. That is what flex does. So like I said, some of them, you can see what flex did now. You can see that everything that they were in, all of them, they were in one column, but now we have flexed them horizontally. They are now, each of them are not taking each column. So this is just like a single container. You have this as one column, you have this as another column, you have this as another column, this as another column, and this as another column. So that is what we have done with what? Flex. So we are still on it. We are still on it. So the next thing I want to determine the maximum width of this container so that it does not span beyond its principal element. So I will say maximum width. I will say 600 PS. So as we are adding this, be checking your browser. Like I said, some of them will not be making impact immediately because they could be waiting for their principal element to adjust before they can flow. So right now, it's not as if they are not making impact, but they are actually waiting for the object they are in to reposition before you can start seeing their impacts. So I will say align item. Align item is different from test alignment. Test alignment is just for flowing or for floating a single element from the left to the middle to the right. But when you say align item, you cannot be talking to a single element that is not in any container and be using what? This property. This property, wherever it is used, it means that you are talking to contents in a container. So what is the content? Remember that this item, this class name, menu, is the UL. And inside the UL, we have lists of our links, home, about us. So the item inside that UL as the main container, they are what you are determining their alignments. And then you want it to be what? Center. So if I come back to my browser, and then if I have not seen any impact, then you have to what? Refresh. If you have not seen any impact, like I said, they are waiting for the principal element. So we continue styling, but I'm trying to explain the role of each of them, even as we are going. Now, I want to justify content, or justify a content is also used when you are talking to the multiple items in a single container. I will tell us what it is. Let me go back to the browser. You can see that there is no space between these links. They are actually what? Touching each other. So I want to create space in between them. That is the meaning of what? Justify the content of the container menu. So now, justify content, I will say space in between, that there should be space in between each of them. Now, if you go back to the browser, you will see that what? There is now what? Space in between the property of the container you are talking to. Now I have been able to establish that with what? The justified content. Now, the next thing is the font size. Let's say you want to probably enhance the size of the writer. Say font size. This has been our regular command just to increase the size of the item. The font size, I can say on the average, the font size for write-up in order to display on mobile phone so that the user can still see it is 18. So 18 is the standard font size. So if I come back here now, you can see that what they are a little bit what either bigger or reduced from the initial size. Now, we are still talking to the main container that is holding all the links that we added through LI and anchor tag. Those are the items inside this container we are relating to now. Now, the next one is font family. I want to choose a particular handwriting for all the items in this container called .menu. So font family is what you use in calling handwriting. Font family. Font family. Font family. I can choose any of these. Or if I know the name of the font, I can go ahead and use it. Let's say I want cursive. So all these are names of fonts. You can go to Microsoft Word and borrow them if you know their name. Now you can come here, you can see that what I have changed the word, the handwriting. Now, this is all I have for the container. Remember that what we are talking to since is this container, the UL that we class menu. But we have not started talking to the item inside it. We only determine the arrangement of the item inside it. Not that we have started talking to the LI, neither the word, the A, the anchor tag inside it. Now I want to start talking to the what? To the item inside it. Now I will come outside and then I will call dot menu. I will explain dot menu li dot menu li. You know what that means? When you, this is what we call CSS combination. CSS combination is when you are establishing the relationship between parents and the child elements. So in this case, the reason why I did not just call li, look at this here. The reason why I did not just call li, if I call li, peradventure I continue my coding, maybe somewhere down the line, I decide to use the li again. Maybe I called what? The li again here. It means that there is no way I have differentiated this li from the li inside this ul as a container. So the reason why I am saying menu li, I am saying that I'm acknowledging the parents before the child inside it. So let me go back, dot menu. So let me explain, just like family tree. You know, there's a way you go to my village now and start asking, I'm looking for Prosper. So many persons may not know me, but by the time you start calling my grandpapa name, that okay, Guero, that is, you are now trying to identify me through my grandpa name or through my father name, because you could not detect me with my name. So that is exactly what we are doing here. When we reference menu, what we are talking to is the li, not this menu. The reason why I call menu is to acknowledge which of the li inside this container, that is the one I am talking to. That is the meaning of this type of CSS combination. So now I will now start calling the property. The property I want here is just what? Display. Display. And then I will say block. I will tell you what this will do. By the time you come back to this, you see that what? All those bullets that were attached to this, they are gone. Because those bullets will make it look unprofessional. It is not good. Let me remove it now and come back. Let me remove this block now. and come back, you will see that the bullet will come back. Look at the bullet. It does not make sense. It makes your site look childish. So what you do is that to turn off all those bullets, just say display block. So once you say block, that block is to turn off the bullet attached to the what? To the list. So that is the work of it. Now you can also see that you want to also assign width. You want to assign width. And then the width is 100%. That is, it should use all the available space. So if you come back here, like I said, when you are coding, always learn to be checking what is happening as you are writing your code. Any questions so far? Okay. Now, just keep following. Since you are recording it, it's simple. Take your time to follow up. Now, we are done with that. So the next property we are talking to, the next element we want to reference now is the A inside. Remember, let me take us through again. Let me show the connection again. So what we just did now, the element we just spoke to now is when we say .menu.li is the what? The li. Now don't forget that inside this li, there is another tag that you added inside, which is what? Anchor tag. That is making the whole of this write-up clickable. So that is the item we want to reference now. And for us to get here, we have to reference the container, reference the li before the A. That is the connection now. So that is what is the grandpa that gave birth to li, and li now gave birth to what? A. To establish that relationship, this is how you are going to do it. .menu space li space then A before you open your bracket. So when you combine, this is 3 selector. What it means is that the one you are talking to right now is A, not li, neither what? Menu. You are only using this one to what? To reference it, to show that there is a connection between what? That is what inside menu you have li, inside li you have A. That is what we are simply saying. So now I cannot call my properties for this. And what I have for this is display. Display. I also have block. Display, block. Then text decoration. Text decoration. Let me bring us back here. You can see that by default, I'm not the one that assigned this color. So whenever you create an icon tag, it will always come with this default color and this underline by default, not until you add it by yourself. So, but me, I don't want the underline. So any decoration that came with, any design that came with the activation of the icon tag, I don't want them. I want to turn them off because I want to determine my color by myself. I want to determine my design by myself. So, but if you don't turn off the default appearance, it will not be possible for you to define your own appearance. So to turn off all the inherited appearance, you say what? Text decoration. Text decoration. Text decoration. Text decoration. You now assign none. Just simply say none. Now, if I go back to the website now, you can see that what? That underline has been removed. And this is making it look more professional. Now, if I want that underline to be at the top instead of under, then I will no longer say none. what I will say what? Over. Overline. I will say overline because there are some websites whereby you can have that design as a style. You want it this way. Then, if I don't want it at all, you will simply say none. None. You don't want any form of design. Now that you have turned it off, now you can define the color of the text. You can now say color. The color of the text, you want red. You want red, not that inherited color. So if I go back now, you can see that what I'm able to what? To talk to this now. I first of all turn off the default appearance, and then I now begin to what? To add my own style. But there is something I want to add here. When the user hovers on it, that is what, when they bring the mouse on any of these write-up, it will change, it will show different appearance in order to show which one you are currently what? Selecting. It is called hover effect. Hover effect. So how do we add that hover effect? It's very simple. Now, you cannot add the hover effect to this combination. You have to step outside. You have to step outside and then call it again. Look at what I'm going to call it now. Dot menu space li space a, and then I will add column, and then I will type hover. Hover. Then before I open what? My code block. Then I will say my hover background color. When the user hovers on the text, the current background color should change to another background color, which I want to define now. Background color. So when they hovers on it, since the current background is white, when they hovers on it, the background should change to what? Red, and the text should change to white. So now I'll go back to my code. Background color, red. Then the color, that is the write-up color. The write-up color should be white because I'm considering red text on a red background. I'm not going to see it. So if I come back to my site now, look at this. If I hover here, you see it. For everyone you hover on, it will show you that effect. So I can decide to say, okay, I don't want the background color. I just want the text color to change. Or when I hover on it, the font size should increase. I can say, okay, since I use 18 font size, when I hover on it, it should increase to 20. It should increase to 20 PS. And then when I hover on it, the handwriting should change from the cursive to another handwriting. So I will call font family here. Font family. Font family. Font family. I will use different fonts. I will say, okay, copper. I hope I'm able to get it. Let's say Korea was this. Now let me go back to. Now I'm removing this background. I don't need the background again. Now let's go back. And then when I hover on it, okay, that is white on white. So I can't use white. Let me change the hover color to blue. Change it to blue. So if I go back to the site now, I hover on it, you see it. Then I want the text to be thicker when I hover on it so I can see very well. So I will add another property called font weight. Font weight. Font weight. I will say bolder. Then let me go back. So you can see it is now more visible. Once you hover on any text, it will change the effect so that it will allow the user to know which one they are currently selecting. That is the whole essence of what we are doing. So I'm done with that. So I'll go to another property now. which is, okay, I still have transition. Inside this, I'm adding transition to this. Transition is to add a kind of effect, a kind of motion. That is, when the hovers on the test, it should respond within certain second. So I'll say, okay, once the hovers on the test, or once the user clicked on the link, it should respond within 0.3 seconds. And then it should respond with ease. That is why it should not just jump out, or it should not just just pop up. It should respond gradually. That's what that is, within 0.3 seconds. So what we are saying is that if I come here, you can see that transition effect, as if there's a kind of a motion on it. That is the meaning of what? That transition effect. So now that I'm through with that, I want to talk to another element, which is the entire container, which is what? This, the one you class page header. So I can copy it the way it is, Ctrl+C, and then come after the last element, Ctrl+V to paste. Because it's a class element, just add the dots and then open your code block. And then here we have a lot of properties to apply here. The first one is called Z-index. I will explain Z-index, what we are trying to achieve with it. I will explain, comment. So Z-index is a CSS property that you use when you have what we call overlapping elements. That is, when you have one element inside another element. As you can see here, we have the first container header. Inside it, we have div logo. Inside it, we have UN. Inside it, we have H1. All these, they are inside this first container. Now, meaning that we want to determine which one of them will be in front and which one will be at the back, so that one does not overshadow one. That is the simple reason why we are using this property called what? Z-index. And why are we adding it to the main container instead of adding it to when we're talking to logo? Now, the reason is that it's the first container that is holding other content. Now, that element, the relationship between it, the header container is inside the body. Now, we are not considering the overlapping of all this as against this. We are considering overlapping of this as against the body that is inside. So meaning between this body as the first box, in which you have this as the second box, and then followed by this, then followed by this, and then followed by this. Which one of them you want to display at the front? Is it the body or the header? So we are saying that what? The header should be in front so that the body will be at the back. So whenever, how do you specify that? If you put negative sign like this before the value, you are saying that this element should go to the back or behind the relative element. That's what the element that is directly related to, or the element that gave birth to it. But when you did not put the negative sign, which is minus, automatically in mathematics, there is what? A visible what? Plus inside. So which means that what? Positive is to overlap element to the front, while negative is to lap element to behind the related element. So that's what we are saying with this Z-index. Now I go to the next one. Test align. Test align. This one is, we're already familiar with this. Test align center. So like I said, as we are adding this, you have to be checking. You can see that as I say, test align center, everything in the container has moved to the what? To the middle. So you can notice some changes now. So we are still styling. This is not how we want it to appear. So the next one is position. How do we want it to be positioned within the principal element? Position, I will say sticky. Sticky means that it should not move. Remember what we are talking to. We are talking to we are talking to this. It should not move inside the body. It should stick to the body. That is the meaning of what sticky. So I can come here and check. So there's no impact yet. So the next element is the top. The next property rather is the top. That is what? 0, meaning that we don't want any space. We don't want space between, we don't want the main container to give space. Now, so that you understand what we are saying, if I come here now and add border so that you know that there is an invisible boundary. So let me just activate so that we can actually relate it. Solid. And let's say blue, the color of the line. So if I come back here now, oh, okay, it will work this way. Let me put the PS. I did not add the unit. So you can see, so that you know that there is a box there as I activated that border. So I will leave this box for now, not that I need it, but just for us to know. You can see this element, all the item inside it. There is no space between them. That's why I say top 0, no space. That is what all the items inside this container should not leave any space from the top. But you can see there is space here. There is space here. And there is also what? Space here. But I say what? Top 0. It should not leave any space there. That is the meaning of what? This top 0. So I'll come back to delete this. I don't need this. So for now, I can say that is settled. Now the width of it, the width of the container, that's what? From here to this, from this, the width should be 100%, should cut across the entire page. It should not stop halfway. So I will say 100%. 100%. So if I go back to my browser, it's 100%. Let's assume that, so you know the impact of that. Let me put value less than 100. Let's assume I put 80%. 80%. So you can see that the header is no longer cutting across the entire page. It's not professional because another element can find its way in here that will disorganize the entire header arrangement. So that is why I added 100% so that it will fill the entire width without leaving any space. So if I go back now, you can see now. Okay, I just want us to be seeing the impact of what we are doing. So the next one is the height. The height is this now, from here to here. This height is too much. It's too much, so we have to reduce it. So how do we reduce it? I'll say what? Height. Height. I want height of 100 PS. So this height is actually calculated based on the content. So you can see the height at the moment. This is the height. By the time we have flexed, we have displayed all this block, everything will fit in here. Even this logo will be constrained, will be limited to this. But for now, this is how you will see it. Now, the next thing is the background color. The background color. Background color. Now, when you want to add your background color, you need to do your calculation. These write-up that are coming on it, they are red, and this is black. So if you use black background color, meaning you are not going to see this text, but I'll still be able to see this. So, but nevertheless, I'm still going to style the H1 that produced this to different color. Let's say white. So let me leave the background color black for now. So I go back there. So this is black for now. You know, the reason why I use that black so that this logo will not show a different background, because these are the things you need to consider. So once you have done Photoshop, you can delete this background so that this logo background will inherit the background of your design. Now, the next element, because the navigation bar is not yet displayed the way we want it, so we have to keep styling until we get what we wanted. So color, I will use what we call hexadecimal method. Hexadecimal method is when you calculate color with a number and letter. So you start with hash, and then if you write letter, let's say CCC, this will produce a color. This is the color it produces. This is what we call hexadecimal color generating system. So if I go back to my browser, so you can see that what the H1 has what automatically inherited the parent's property, because we have not spoken to it individually, or we have not spoken to this particular H1. So that is why when you have item in a container and you have added some property to the container, the item inside it will take the parent's property until you assign their own property to them. So for example, now, if I come here now, right now, the H1 is inheriting the parent properties. It's a simple illustration. It's just like you don't have house, or you are not able to build house, but your father or your parents build one. So automatically you own the one they built, since you could not build your own. So what is happening here now is that the H1 has not yet been styled. That is why it's now taking the parent, the container that is in property. So now if I come outside just to clear that, and I say H1 because I did not class it, and then I say color, it will now drop the parent style automatically. Check what is going to happen now. If I come back here now, it has dropped what? The parent what? Property. Now it's not having its own assigned property. So you need to understand that. So I'm still here. I'm still here. So I will say display. Display. Display, I will say flex. I've explained this display flex before, just to make your item to be in a column. So automatically, what can you see now? All these items that were outside, they have now find their way inside their principal container. So the reason why the logo is overflowing or floating is because we have not reduced the size. The size of this logo is more than the height of this. We'll take care of that later. So now I go back there. I'll say justify content. Justify content. Why do I need that? You know that what they are now merging, no space between them. So I want them to create gap. There should be gap between each of them. So I'll come back here and say what? Justify content. Justify content. I will say space in between. Space in between. By the time I go back now, you see that was the content first. What you have, this is one content, this is another one. So now we are still talking to the whole element. So let's go back there. We will now say align item. That is what we actually what distribute this item. The first one was for the entire container and everything you have inside. Now, this align item now is for this. So align item, let's say what? Center. Center. Then padding. Padding. Now look up. Align center. That is what? They should be at the middle of this. When you calculate this space from here to here and from here to here is equal.